Hello, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Craft, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK and across France, Germany, Austria and the Netherlands. Thank you for joining me for another Simple Stamping Saturday, which of course means another week has gone and we're a little bit closer to, in this case, Halloween. I'm using the Festive and Bright stamp set, and then I will be introducing the dies that go with it, which are the Festive Finishes dies, but I'll come on to those in a moment. So I'm going to be using this stamp, Spooky, and the spider for my project. I've got my white note card and envelope ready to go, but let me show you the project before I start, which is this. So I've got the stamp going across from one corner to the other, Spooky, and then the spider, and then on the envelope, because we always decorate the envelope on Simple Stamping Saturday, I have popped the spider again. So let me show you how I have done all of that. Start with my white note card. This is the valley of the score. I like to fold towards the mountain, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp, which is on an I block, because it is quite a long stamp. Obviously you can use your Stamparatus if you have got that and if you prefer, but I do quite like using my long thin blocks. So pop that down. Try not to do what I've just done, which is rock the stamp. And there we go. So that's that. Then I'm just going to come in while that's drying, because I'm going to want to use some watercolour pencils, and I'd rather that the ink was fully dry first. So I'm going to come in with Spooky. And then the spider, which I will stamp on the envelope as well. And I'm just going to add that to the dot of the eye. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up the top of the spider's little thread with that dot of the exclamation mark. So like that. It is a very narrow thing, stamp, so wobbling it is not unusual in my opinion. Try not to do what I've just done, which is wobble quite a lot, and then just check your envelope is the right way up and repeat. There we go. That was better. It would have been better if I'd got those the other way round, but never mind. Let's pop my ink pad away, and I'm going to bring out both sets of watercolour pencils. And I'm doing both sets because I want a purple. So I've got Pumpkin Pie, Gorgeous Grape, Early Espresso and Basic Black. And I'll need my blender pen as well. So first things first, I will do the brooms. So just scribbling some brown on the brooms and down the shaft of the broom. And again, and down the shaft, and again, and down the shaft. So that's all of the Early Espresso done. Now I'm going to take my Pumpkin Pie, and I just want to check which order I did them in, because I wanted to do them in the same order. Right, so I'm starting with my orange here. So my Pumpkin Pie is on this one, because I'm alternating Pumpkin Pie and Gorgeous Grape. Obviously I could do it the, any order I want, but my stepped up versions are in the same order as this, so it's kind of useful if they are the same. And then this I'm doing with a stripe, because I can. So Gorgeous Grape for the other hat bands. And for the stripe. And a little bit more pigment on that one. And then basic black for the hat, or hats I should say, because there are lots. And this really is a question of getting the pigment down. This is not about doing beautiful colouring at this stage, because that's where the blender pen comes in. And you can cover a multitude of sins simply with that. So very scrappy colouring from me, just so that I can get a good amount of pigment onto the hats. Let's just add a bit more on there. And nearly done. Now I do accept that these spiders are now at a funny angle because I've gone sideways, but because it fitted I wanted to put it all on the note card. So it's magic after all. So we can do really whatever we want. Right, blender pen. I always start by checking that there's no pigment on it. And I'm going to start by just moving the brown around. Now, the first thing to remember, and I know I say this every time, is to not go over one area too much or you will pill the paper. And by pilling I mean you will break it down and it will go all lumpy and fibrous and horrible. So not to be recommended. I mean, you can do quite a lot of scribbling, as you can see, but just be gentle. Right, so I've done all of the browns, so I'm going to colour this off. I'm going to use one of these printed bits so that I can keep my paper reasonably clean. I'm going to do the Gorgeous Grape next. Just literally moving it around. I'll bring it up so you can see it in a minute, because I want you to see how rough the black is. So that you can then see just how much it changes. So this is, where are we? Here. So this is blended, this isn't, but the Gorgeous Grape is. I'm going to do the pumpkin pie next. And then I will just finish off with the black. Now I have slightly gone over the line there, so I can just blend that out a bit and then come into, I'm going to show you this again and then I'll come and show it to you when I've coloured it or blended it, so you can see just how different it becomes. And I think black in particular is a really good colour to see just how smooth the colour will become just with a little bit of blender pen. Now you can use the blender pen with Stampin' Write markers. You can scribble on a piece of acetate and pick the ink up. You can use them with your ink pads, all sorts. So let me show you. So this is the one that I've blended. This is one that I haven't. And I think you can see that this one is nice and smooth and this one is all scribbly. So, are you a Halloween person or not? I mean, the joy with this stamp set is that it covers all sorts of occasions. Yes, obviously, Halloween. But if I bring it back in while I'm colouring this, you can have a look at it. We've got what could be either apples or oranges or any sort of round fruit. And then we've got the pine swag with Christmas lights. But this in particular I think is going to be a really useful stamp because it is a nondescript round fruit on a swag. So you could do it any fruit you wanted. Yes, obviously you can do it as apples, which is what it's meant to be. but you can do it for anything. I hope you enjoyed my craft room tour, which I did on Thursday. Or the video went live on Thursday. You will have gathered possibly that I had a massive clear out. I donated a lot of stuff to a local children's therapy charity who thought Christmas had come early. I, on the other hand, thought Christmas had come early because they took it all and cleared lots of stuff for me. I've got some things that I need to list for selling, which I can only do in the UK, just so you know, mostly because of, I could do into France, Germany, Austria or the Netherlands, of course, but because I do business there, but at the moment I'm just at the listing stage, which is the kind of boring bit, going through the boxes, sorting things out into alphabetical order, because that's kind of where my brain goes. I always file my stamps in alphabetical order, so I have a vague hope of finding them. I do split them between catalogues, but otherwise they're alphabetical. So there you are, all nicely blended. I'll scribble this off again so that it's clean for next time. And then I just need to find the cap, which is there, because you do want to keep your cap on. And then fold my note card, grab my bone folder. There is our finished card. So let me just clear the decks a wee bit and bring in the other two versions that I've done. So this is my quick and simple minimal supplies. So we've got one ink pad, two sets of watercolour pencils, blender pen and note cards and envelopes. Then to step it up one time, I have introduced the dies because, I mean, you could fussy cut, and then I've got the sentiment spooky still, so that's this die here, and then these dies come in two bits, and it's more obvious with the next version, and they are marked which way up is, and also which is one, which one pairs with which. So this one goes that way, and this one goes that way to die cut. And then I've shrunk the label just by putting it through the cut and emboss a couple of times. And then I fussy cut paper from the cute Halloween designer series paper. So I fussy cut some ghosts out of this piece of paper, and then it was this paper that I used for the background. And then some matte black dots, which are perfect for Halloween. So that's the first stepped up version. And then I went a bit mad with glitter. So the same basic layout, but this time I only die cut this side of the stamped image, but I've layered it on the black glimmer paper and the ombre paper, which is in the annual catalogue, and it's called the, I think from memory, it's the specialty ombre paper, something like that. Should have checked before I brought it on camera. Note to self. I am a bear of little brains sometimes. Nope. There we go. So it's this, number 4, ombre specialty paper, which is glittered, and it's gorgeous. So I've used it in the purple and also in the orange to red. This is, I think, Mango Melody rather than Pumpkin Pie. And I've then used the really pale purple to die cut the ghosts, which come as an addition to your dies. So those are my Halloween Simple Stamping Saturday. Oh, and I've put some paper at the bottom as well, different papers. This one has skulls and ghosts and bats, and this one just has the repeat from here. But yes, an early Halloween project. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do remember to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you don't already. Any questions or comments, leave those in the space below the description bar. If you want to see close-ups of these and a bit more information, you can do that by going over to my blog post, which is linked in the description. Other than that, have a fantastic weekend. I'm on a team retreat tomorrow. I know I did one last weekend, and now I'm going to an in-person one. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. But have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!